What are your thoughts on, are we like data measuring ourselves out of joy?
I think it's always important to start off with any decision that you have in looking at facts and figures. But frankly, our industry is not a facts and figures based industry. We have so much that happens that is a human element in our restaurants that it's really hard sometimes to just look at that alone. And so I think there's gut. I think that we have incredible operators that have been there for years that understand it, but it is an art and science.
Spoke my love language.
Melissa Doolin Koehne is founder and principal of restaurant consulting firm Elevate 4 and chairman of the board of the Texas Restaurant Foundation. Through her work supporting youth-centered organizations like ProStart and Café, Melissa is creating real pathways for the next generation of leaders. She believes and exemplifies the idea that great business starts with great people.
My claim to fame, I think I peaked really early in my career, is that I had the fastest drive-through time in all of Carl's Jr. At one point.
I'm like,
great question, right? And so I'm going to publicly tell mine here, which will make you all laugh. I was hosting a lunch and I was thanking our sponsors, and we were bringing people up, and David Cantu came up and I went to hug him and I had the microphone and I didn't realize the microphone was hot and I went,
well, Melissa, welcome to the show.
Oh, Lisa, I am so excited to be here. I've been watching your podcast for so many years, and you have the best people on your podcast. So just to be here and you invited me, what an honor. Thank you so much.
Well, it is my passion, as you know, to find these stories, and it brings me joy.
Yeah.
Well, I am going to start with what I think is kind of the elephant in the room, which is across the board, there's so many bankruptcies. There's so much traffic. It's the economy. It's, back to basics. And, I'm kind of like, there's something bigger going on, which is this idea of stripping out costs.
Yes.
Leaving us joyless.
Yes.
Right? And my data actually shows that a third of consumers say restaurants just aren't worth it anymore. Do you think, I'd love your thoughts, because you have so much experience and so much the pulse. It's like, what are your thoughts on, are we like data measuring ourselves out of joy?
Well, I am a huge fan of data and metrics.
I know
spending
you are.
the majority of my career looking at them. And I think data and metrics are the story behind the action. And so I think it's always important to start off with any decision that you have in looking at facts and figures. But you can absolutely get to a situation where you're strictly looking at facts and figures. And frankly, our industry is not a facts and figures based industry. We have so much that happens that is a human element in our restaurants that it's really hard sometimes to just look at that alone. And so I think there's gut. I think that we have incredible operators that have been there for years that understand it, but it is an art and science.
You just, you spoke my love language, which is the art and science. Because at the end of the day, I really feel like I've had so many conversations, Melissa, where people will say, I know I need to cut costs, but if I cut costs, then I know that I need to give more, not take more.
Yes.
To really keep the soul of the brand.
I don't envy operators. I think it is harder to run restaurants than it ever has before. I run a conference for CEOs, and the conversations that those CEOs are having are exactly that. It is not an easy road right now. There's so much complexity, more than ever before, and to make those decisions are really, really difficult. I think you have to lean into your brand and really understand your brand promise. I think you also have to lean into the things that make people want to go to your restaurant more than ever before, right? And really understanding your brand promise and what takes away from that and then what gives to it.
Well, and I always talk about, you got to remind people why they fell in love with your brand.
Yes.
And that is so critical. But I feel like this back to basics, I don't know, because sometimes the trigger of the past or the solution of the past isn't going to work.
Well, I think people are reimagining the back to basics, right? And you've had Kevin here with Brinker on telling his story, and Brinker has, Chili's has a great story of going back to the basics, but reinventing it in a new way. And I think our industry is very, very saturated, right? We've evolved so much over the years with the way that people like to dine out, the way that they like to experience. I always go back to it's convenience and also experience. One of those two are the biggest drivers of like what brings people into your restaurants. And so I think when you layer in your culture, your brand, your experience, and you look at those areas, what's making you stand out from everybody else?
Well, and here's my goal. And let's do a little brainstorming. We can't call it back to basics anymore because it's not.
No.
And I think that when it's like if the Titanic was sinking, they steered the ship away, and that was actually what sank the ship. And so what our comfort zone of choice is, Kevin's a great example because it is reminding people why they fell in love, but it's not doing it the same way. So we've got to come up with another term besides back to basics.
I agree with you, Lisa, but I think there's so many great lessons learned in best in class companies. And I always go back to my days at Black Box Intelligence, where we really focus on the intersection of people and profits. And, I think when you hear Kevin and you hear other successful stories about, hey, let's go back to what really works, there's a huge investment in the people part of it, right? We're looking at operations, we're looking at streamlining. AI is taking a new role in how do we streamline and really provide consistency. But nothing replaces that human piece. And so how do we take care of our people that take care of our customers? And the best in class companies really, really decide if we're going to cut anything, it's not going to be around our people.
Well, and I think, and I love that, how much I love that, because I always say we have to stop transacting and start connecting.
Yes.
And you can't keep cutting and that's an interesting twist. You can't cut and connect. It's kind of hard, And so I think that's the challenge for the industry. Because I ask people, how much is your training budget? Is it more or less than it used to be? Is your training budget shrinking? Then you're not really investing in the people.
And it goes beyond just your training piece, right? I think there's a lot of training out there that is essential, and you typically find companies that are best in class. And when I talk about best in class, I mean they're outperforming in sales and traffic. They are investing in training, but they're also doing things that really invest in, do I enjoy coming to work?
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yes.
Do I find joy in work?
Yeah.
Do I enjoy it? Are you investing in me like I'm investing in you?
Yeah.
So it has everything to do with how you communicate with me as an employee, how I show up. Do you have work-life flexibility? Our industry is not well known for that, right? Do I get paid very well? Do you care when my car breaks down and I can't make it to work? Like, those are some when we talk about back to basics, I also think like the humanization, we are such a human, we are at the intersection of where humanization happens.
Oh,
and it's so beautiful when it happens really well. So are you investing in great managers that really know how to train and develop? And it's not easy. We're really at a tough time in our industry.
Well, I think if there's another elephant in the room, it's actually the labor shortage, right?
Oh, so there's that.
There's that, right? There's that. And the labor shortage. But when I talk to, one of our common intersections is the passion for youth.
Yes.
And the labor shortage. And what I found during my research during the pandemic was you talk to young people, and the industry kind of got a little bit of a PR hit in the pandemic, because when young people see bad customer behavior, it's like, why do I want that stress in my life? And so I feel like, especially some of the work that you're doing, so I want to kind of go into that area, because I have such a passion for youth and helping them grow and be successful, and restaurants could be a great pathway for many. So let's kind of go there.
Okay.
And I would love to start with Café Momentum.
Yes.
And oh my goodness, I am so excited. I had a meeting with Olivia. I will say, hi Olivia. We live down the street. It's just crazy. We live on the same street, which is just unbelievable. But what they're doing, I would love for you to say what they do first. But what is the heart of their mission?
So I have been lucky and fortunate to know Chad Hauser, who founded Café Momentum for several years when he first started it. And so Chad Hauser is an incredible chef and entrepreneur who was well known in Dallas for being a top-notch 5-star chef. And he came to the conclusion is there's more than I do. And so he started a restaurant called Café Momentum, who hires at-risk youth. So these are first offender youth that are 16 to 20. And they hire them, they train them, they invest in them, and they give them an opportunity to learn about our business. And the recidivism rate here is just incredible. The impact that it has on these kids and these students that are learning about our business. They are also finding job satisfaction, and they feel seen, and they feel invested into, and they find things that they're good at.
Well, see, and that's what's so powerful to me is that there's so many kids that if you believe the social media, Gen Z is unemployable, they're lazy, they don't want to work. And then if you overlay somebody that maybe made a wrong decision at some point in their career, their confidence has to be pretty shaken. And
absolutely.
And so I've been to a couple of events that the Café Momentum staff, it was served by prepared and served. And just literally the joy on their faces to be seen. And explain the plates on the wall with all the different people. The kids have their plates on the wall when they finish the program.
Yes. So the kids get to design a plate and put it on the wall. And the power of that and the storytelling of that on the plates are it's incredible. But
well, explain it. So imagine, you look at a plate, what do you see from some of those plates? They're messages.
Well, I think there's a lot of messages of hope, a lot of like I said, feeling seen, feeling heard, and joy of being seen and heard, and feeling good about going to work every day and feeling like they're contributing to society in a positive way. It's such a beautiful thing. And Chad's building this nationally, which is really exciting. And that's one of the reasons why I'm getting involved in at the level that I am now, is that this is not just Dallas anymore. And when I look at the challenges that we have as a restaurant industry and recruiting and finding talent, it's not going to get any easier.
It's going to get worse.
It's going to get worse.
Yes.
And so you have a program like Café Momentum, who is tapping into an incredible source of talent that has not been uncovered. And how do we partner with organizations like Café Momentum, like ProStart, which I'm sure we'll talk about too, that make it easier for us. And we are the industry that hires the most kids. We are the first hire for so many.
Well, and I read that Emily Knight is a mutual friend of the Texas Restaurant Association.
We love Emily.
Hi, Emily. And the fact that, the restaurant sales in Texas alone is $160 billion.
Yes.
But yet half of restaurants say they can't find staff. And on any given shift, 20% say they're not really at a staffing level that they want.
Yep.
So there's an urgent need to make people want to work in the restaurants.
There is an urgent need.
Yeah, there's an urgent need. And I think that let's go ahead and pivot into the ProStart because, Café Momentum is taking children at risk and giving them hope and joy and confidence.
Yes.
And then another program that I know is a passion, and I wish I could have gone to Waco with you to go do
You can come in March. We're going to have it in March. Everyone's welcome.
We'll come in, so in March, we'll be down in Waco. But ProStart, let's explain that. And it's a different way to get youth engaged in the hospitality business.
Yeah. So Lisa, I don't think I've ever told you the story of why I'm passionate about ProStart, but my ProStart story started many, many moons ago, and I actually went to Johnson & Wales University. I was in their hospitality program, and I was a tour guide, believe it or not.
Wait. I can see Melissa. Was it follow me?
Yes.
Follow me?
Yes.
And you're walking backwards.
I was not very good at walking backwards, but I was good at giving tours.
But right? You have to walk. Did you have to walk backwards?
We did. I had a fellow, one of my best friends to this day named Matt Smith, walked backwards, and we were in a cafe, and every time, like every third tour, he would fall on the sign of the cafe and have check because we had to wear khaki pants. So I diverted and said, no, I cannot be good at two things at once. I can talk, but I cannot walk backwards.
I can just see Melissa in college. I'm walking.
Yes, yes. So that was, I did that. And
Sorry, I digress.
But I met on a tour, I met a woman that led the first education foundation in the country in Georgia. And she said, I'm running this program called ProStart, where we are placing students in to the restaurant industry and giving them a passion. And I said, oh my gosh.
How old are they?
They were high school students.
Exactly.
So it's a high school program. And I was just fascinated. I said, do you have an internship? She said, no. And I said, how about we make one? And so I went down for the summer and worked with students, and I was placing inner city Atlanta youth into positions. And I saw the spark of them. They were wearing chef coats. And they were told, a lot of these kids are told, you're not good at anything. You are not getting good grades. They get into that kitchen and they get on fire because they finally find something that clicks for them and they understand.
Well, they find their passion.
And they're making more money than some of their parents were in these kitchens. And so they found something that they were good at and they felt good at. And so I just really, that rocked my world. That changed actually the trajectory of my career as a whole, because I went back and I worked at the Rhode Island Hospitality, and then I graduated. I worked for the National Restaurant Association Foundation, and I became so passionate about it. So longer in my career, I was asked to be on the board of the Texas Restaurant Foundation, and this year I'm incoming chair. The Texas Restaurant Foundation, I'm especially proud of because we have literally the largest school to career program in the entire country.
Everything's bigger in Texas.
I think I told you a number, and it's actually grown since we've talked.
Yes, please.
So we're at over 34,000 students in Texas alone that is learning about culinary and hospitality skills. And it is an untapped market. Talk about like you're looking for your next star employee. Hey, guess what? We have an incredible program that kids are excited about. And then they compete, which is what you're going to do.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah, the ProStart Invitational. So we take them down to Waco and they have a competition. It's a culinary competition as well as hospitality. They have to create their own idea of a restaurant and they're costing out menus. They're doing their marketing plan. Like these are pretty incredible.
Well, and I think
programs.
that what is so exciting, if I'm going, count me in.
Yes.
And the thing is it's like being, there's so many culinary shows these days.
Yes.
And so for these kids, they feel like they're making a difference. They're like their little moment to show them, the spark.
Yes.
It's the spark.
Yes.
And I think that that's so powerful. And what I know from my data ongoing is that if people feel confident when they're that 15 and 16-year-old self,
yes,
then that changes the trajectory of their world.
Yes.
And the industry, we can do a better job of saying it's not just being in the kitchen.
Yes.
We know it's managing people. It's the finance people. We need marketing people. So it's not just the kitchen.
Yes,
and I think that's
agree.
the low-hanging fruit. That's why you and I, we could totally talk about that for hours.
And we can invest in these kids, right, too? I mean, I give a lot of credit to some of the brands that show up to these and sponsor these programs. We got Raising Cane's, which is a title sponsor.
Yeah.
Chipotle. We're doing these contests now where it's like build your own burrito. So some of these kids go on to nationals and they win big awards. We give out over $2 million in scholarships.
Oh my God. Well,
Incredible.
and I got to for a project for one of my clients, I hired Mansfield ProStart people to
There you
actually help
go.
me run surveys at a restaurant for a taste test. And so there's opportunities today for restaurants and hotels, anybody in hospitality, to hire these kids to give them experience. They're very hardworking, very dedicated, and just grateful to learn, soak it all
Yes.
in. That's the thing that I love so
I
much
love that
about
you did that. I didn't know that. And
Yeah.
Mansfield has a great program.
Oh yes, we Harrison and I we spent a lot of time doing some taste tests in a restaurant, and the kids were the ones that they actually went to the they had to go approach guests to actually participate in a survey inside the four walls of a restaurant.
That's fantastic.
And they were very independent. They were, they had to know which menu items we were testing. They were psyched to get paid. The other thing is that particular restaurant was like, can you come work for me? So
Yes.
it was actually a super exciting test. And I look to do more of those for sure. It's a wonderful program. But let me actually go to kind of one, it's such a hard topic, but what moved me so much, and I know I didn't get to go, I wanted to go so bad to Kerrville with you guys, to South Texas. And for those of you guys that don't know, obviously the Central Texas floods, devastating to Central Texas.
Yeah.
And Melissa, Emily, the Kelly Valade, and the team from Denny's and their mobile, they went and fed people. I want you to tell me the human side of what you saw.
Yeah, so this was the second time that we just recently went. So right after the floods, I give a lot of credit to Emily Williams-Knight. We also have an incredible board member named Lupita Corbell. She's one of the largest Denny's franchisees. And of course, the Texas Restaurant Association goes right into action on how can we help. And, we take care of our own, we take care of restaurateurs, but we all know restaurateurs take care of the community. We are the first to raise our hand and say, let's help in a time of need.
They are, the restaurant industry is a first responder.
First responder all the way.
Yeah.
Denny's has this mobile relief truck that is insane. It is incredible. And they drove it down to Kerrville and they served these families when there was just so much devastation. Emily made the promise that we would be back. And so a couple weeks ago, we went down and we set up in front of HEB, which is a great grocery store here in Texas. And we served meals for 3 days. And we served over 7,000 meals.
Chills.
And,
oh my God, that just gives me chills.
And I'll tell you, the sentiment is, I can't believe you guys came back. When something like this happens, it's usually people pour in, but no one comes back.
It just makes me want to cry.
I know, right? I know.
Seriously, it just makes me want to cry.
It was really just so beautiful.
Yeah.
And, we have such a complex restaurant, and the restaurant industry is so complex, but at the end of the day, serving a warm meal to somebody is
well, tell me the story.
So beautiful.
There was a woman that you had talked about. Yeah.
So we were going through the line and helping people, and I served one woman who was in her car with all of her belongings, like everything that she owned, and her two dogs. Her two dogs were adorable. And she said, "Thank you so much for serving me. I'm 34 days sober." Oh, God. And I know I'm going to get teary-eyed too. And she said, I needed hope. And you guys have fed me for 3 days, a warm meal. And when I am just trying to survive here, I left a situation that I knew I wouldn't be able to get sober in, but I just lost my father and I'm doing this for him. And just being here means so much to me. And it was like, gosh, I feel so lucky and honored that I was in that moment.
Yeah.
But I just think about, Denny's does this all the time.
Yeah.
And Kelly Valade is a friend of mine. She has the biggest heart. And I know they're very committed to doing this as much as they can. And I got to work on the back of the line.
That was gonna be my next question. And I know Kelly and I are, good friends from our Brinker days as well. And she is so committed to that.
Yes.
But yes, that was going to be my next thing, because imagine Melissa in this Denny's mobile diner flipping pancakes.
I was not flipping pancakes. They had very seasoned veterans flipping the pancakes. But what was really, really neat about this is that when I was asking, all the Denny's employees donated their time too.
Yeah.
So here they are doing this. I was working on the line with a woman that has worked for Denny's for decades long, and so committed to what she was doing. And I slowed them down. They were very, very nice and they had to deal with me, but I'm telling you, they were pros. They were incredible. And
did you say like 30 years?
40 years.
Oh my goodness.
40 years.
Wow.
So, and there was another man there that was about to retire after 38 years. There was 20 something years. It was just, everybody there was.
Well, what does that tell you again about the industry? And number one, obviously the tenure in that is amazing, but the fact that they're there showing up.
Yes.
What does that say about, I think it's a bigger thing about, not Denny's for sure, but just the bigger industry.
Yeah, we're filled with people that care and give. I mean, you don't get into the hospitality industry because you're looking to make your next multi-million dollars. Obviously we can, we are an industry that you absolutely can make a great living in, and there's lots of opportunities for that, but we're just wired a little bit differently, right? We're all about hospitality. We're all about people. We're about making that meal so special for that employee and connect, or for those guests, and connecting in that way. Those are the people that usually shine, stay for 40 years, have a great living, and enjoy what they do every single day when they show up.
Well, and I think it's got to be just in people's DNA.
Absolutely.
And I feel like I was born with that gene
yes.
as well. There's just something about it. But I want to actually find a little bit more, because I knew you went to Johnson & Wales.
Yes.
I did not know the backing up that you were the tour guide. So that was a good new insight for me. But I want to go back even further to say, my favorite question, which was, what was your first job? So I'm not talking about like after college. I'm talking about your Little Melissa.
Yes. So Little Melissa. So to back it up even more, I think I always try to give a nod to, I was literally born into the restaurant industry. And so I'm one of the lucky ones that my parents actually met at Steak and Ale.
I didn't even know this.
Did you not know this? Okay, so my
story.
Parents were both managers at Steak and Ale. My mom actually was the first female general manager of a Steak and Ale back in the early 80s. And so my mom literally went into labor in a restaurant.
See, I was thinking, I knew there was the literal meaning, but I mean the figurative, but now I understand the literal. Yes. That's amazing.
So I was born into this industry. I've had a love and a passion for it. Really instilled by my parents. My father was an operator through and through.
And I know them well.
I know. And my stepmom founded Black Box Intelligence, and just really instilled this feeling of hospitality and giving in a way that I have cherished. So my first job, just like every great restaurant executive, you're not going to not work. You have to work, and you have to work in a restaurant, which I've instilled into my kids now, right? There's no easy paths. And so my first job was Drive-Thru in Carl's Jr.
All right. And how old were you?
I was 16, and I was in California, so you had to be legally 16. And so
was it the headset, Melissa?
It was the headset, Melissa. And I will tell you, I was not very good at it the first time. I remember those shifts where you're like, I'm going to die. People are waiting in the line for 15 minutes, cursing you out. I'm not good at this, but I did it. And I worked at a Carl's Jr. right in front of Home Depot on a Saturday and Sunday mornings.
Oh,
it was rough. But I got better and better at it.
Yeah.
And my claim to fame, I think I peaked really early in my career, is that I had the fastest drive-through time in all of Carl's Jr. at one point. Thank you.
High five.
Yes. I peaked. It's all downhill from
Yeah,
there.
the Carl Jr. record setting.
Yes.
We need a certificate for you.
I had one at one point. I had a plaque. I don't know where it is. I would love to find it.
Okay, we need to find it.
Mom, if you have it, please, I would like for you to find that.
Well, I do want to go back. Okay, 16 years old.
Yes.
So then where did you do the babysitting when you were younger, or, lemonade stands or anything like that before that 16? Or was that really?
No, I don't really think I did that. We did a lot of volunteering though.
Okay.
I do remember like doing lemonade stands and those kinds of things for Share Our Strength, which is another organization that we really believe in. I remember volunteering at a church and doing those things. So we were always involved in a community way. And so I think I did a lot of those things. But Carl's Jr. definitely was like the first job.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, so is there one thing that you learned from your drive-through days that you feel like I still use today?
Go fast, baby.
I love that because that is the restaurant industry that we live in. Am I right?
Well, I think too, the reason why I was fastest drive-through time was you build it by a team. I loved the team that I worked with. We had a lot of fun at work. I remember my first boss, the general manager, her name was Rose, and she really took a chance on me in a big way. Like all general managers that are hiring somebody that's never worked before, you're taking a chance. But she was such an incredible leader and steward of that restaurant.
So, and that one is also one that just strikes my heart in such a positive way, because I always say, take a chance on people. People took a chance on me. They took a chance on you.
Yes.
So if Rose magically walked through the door, let's imagine, what would you tell her today?
Oh, gosh. Well, I would say, Rose, you were a huge reason that I went down the line that I went. My parents were in the restaurant industry. I knew I had to get a job in a restaurant industry because it was just like, that's the rite of passage. But she really showed me the love of this industry.
Say, if she literally walked in, what would you say?
Rose, thank you so much for taking a chance on me. And I think about the impact that you had on me as a 16-year-old that didn't know what she was doing and how she was doing it. And you invested in me at a time that I really needed it. And I can't thank you enough. And now I'm paying it forward.
Well, and then you think about what I always love is that reciprocity of joy.
Yes.
Because if I can find Rose, I'm going to see if we can find her. And
I would love to find her. I don't know how we would do that, but that would be amazing.
Well, we'll see. You never 6 degrees of separation, right? But the other thing too is we forget to thank the coach sometimes.
Yes.
And I feel like that's part of why I do those stories from the front line, on LinkedIn, because when
I love those.
Oh, good. Yeah, the stories from the front line, because I feel like we forget sometimes to appreciate those frontline people, but then we forget to tell the people that made a difference in our own lives.
Yes.
To how grateful we are for those people. So that's part of my mission to do that.
Well, Lisa, you're so good at that too. I think that's one of your superpowers is that you're really, you spread joy, but it's genuine in how you do it with everybody.
Well, and it's like, whether it's the Lyft driver or, the hotel front desk person, it's like everybody has a story, which is why I love doing these as well.
Or a friend. That just started a business and said, let me take you to lunch and help you, which you did.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, that's so funny. Okay. So what Melissa's talking about is after 20 years at Black Box,
yes,
I got this call, like I'm thinking about taking a leap, and you've already taken the leap. What can you tell me about it? I remember that Mendocino Farms.
Yes.
What do you remember from that?
No, I remember being really nervous because I was taking a leap of something that felt very comfortable, that I've known for so long, in building something new. I would like to say that I never considered myself an entrepreneur. I never thought I would be the CEO or the person driving something. I was always a great number 2, number 3. Like I never was the leader. And so I never looked at myself that way. And it was really nerve-wracking. But I went into this really with an open mind of, hey, if I can surround myself, which I think I've done very well, surround myself. My mom gave me this advice in high school, and I think it's the best advice that I've listened to, and I give it to my kids, is surround yourself with people that you think are better than you.
Yes.
And that's not a slight to me, but it's like I can learn from new people all the time. And so when I was taking this risk of like, is this something I want to do? I don't even know how to do this. Like, I don't know how to model it. You and I were talking about the basics of like, am I a LLC, or what do I do as a business? And so
I remember that conversation though, because it was that fear. And I think I shared the story, because my story was, I'd been in corporate America my whole life. It was Lisa Miller, Frito-Lay, Lisa Miller, Brinker, all of a sudden Lisa Miller, fill in the blank.
Yes.
What? And so I remember we talked about that, and I'm like, it might feel weird at first, but I'm like, look at you now. 2025 has been an amazing year.
Yes.
And I just remember hoping to instill some confidence in that you've got this.
You totally gave that to me, and you still give that to me. I know if I need to talk to you, you're so easy and accessible, and you've supported me in so many ways on this journey, and that says a lot about you. But you've been doing this for so many years, and you've been successful. But the thing that I loved about that conversation, Lisa, is that you weren't like, oh, this is great, this will be hard. You said, this is hard sometimes. Yeah. It's lonely sometimes. Sometimes I didn't know if I was going to continue to do it. And I really appreciated the authenticity and the honesty that you gave me, because I think that gave me the courage.
Yeah, and it is. It's, for anybody starting a career, it's it can be that roller coaster ride. And when you step into something new and just try new things, because, I'm all about innovation. So I'm always trying new things, and they don't always work. I will tell you that. But I also say if everything's working, you're not pushing hard enough at the same time.
See, that's a good lesson. I need to continue to hear that.
See, and even just being in the studio, taking this podcast show to the next level, I'm like, because you and I'll just put it out there. I actually told you, I'm like, I prepared all these questions, but I know I'm going to forget them all. Right? And what did you say back? You're like,
who cares? We'll have a great conversation anyway. We always do.
We always do. So we have these exact conversations.
And you're really good at this, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but I wanted to make sure I had some, thoughtful questions, but I'm like, we just go with the flow, which is the way we roll.
Yes.
This is the way we roll. But I want to ask you, if you think about, because, I know your mom and your dad and your stepmom and all that, if there's one lesson about that transition from kind of corporate, we'll call it, into your own, what was the thing that at your heart from them, maybe the support that they told you?
Well,
I know, right?
I think, the thing that I have been insanely blessed with, I think all of us in the room here can attest to this, is that the support and love of your parents is everything. If kids have that at the beginning of their lives and they continue to have it, the confidence that you have being built into it. And I was very lucky and honored to work with my parents for 20 years. And a lot of people are like, oh, that must be a terrible dynamic. And it wasn't. We really worked very well together, and it was a good marry of ideas and thoughts, and we worked really well together. And they never stopped being my parents. They were always my parents, and they were my mentors. I looked up to them so much. I mean, they accomplished so much. I think,
and they were entrepreneurs themselves.
I think the part that I had to, the truth in the matter of is, if I go out and do this on my own, how do I live up to the expectations of being Wally and Shoni Doolin's daughter? And I look up to them so much. But I think as I've evolved, and encouragement of them is, I'm my own unique person making my own path. And that's a beautiful thing too. I I could never be what my parents are. They're incredible. They did so many amazing things too, but they believe that I have that in me too, and I do too.
But sometimes it's hard, and I'm so grateful for that LinkedIn post that you just did with all of it, because I do think, as people, as humans, sometimes we forget. It's because there's so much noise, there's so much, go, go, go. And sometimes we do have to pause and believe in yourself. So yes.
Yeah.
But I also say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Yes. I'm lucky. I think I inherited a lot of the good things of my parents. Right. And we definitely as a family have always had this heart and soul of the restaurant industry at the core of who we are. And a lot of my board and volunteer time is really rooted at seeing that modeled for me and the impact that it can have on the industry. Working at Black Box Intelligence, we worked with over 400 plus restaurant brands. And so I felt really lucky. I got to see the industry in this very large kind of at the mountaintop way, looking at data and insights and what works and what doesn't. And a lot of the modeling that I saw in looking at that data was, the cultures matter, the way you treat people matters. The CEOs that I most admire were the ones that did the things like the Denny's.
Yeah, they give back.
They give back. And it's not about profit at all costs. And we got involved in an organization called Conscious Capitalism at Black Box Intelligence. I did a little stint there and still really involved in it. But I do believe we, as leaders of our industry, if we are going to do it well, we have a responsibility to take care of more than just ourselves or our employees. We have a future of our industry to take care of.
That just warms my heart, because that, honestly, at the end of the day, it is. We have to prepare the next generation for the future. Well, I want to actually close on my lightning round here.
Okay.
All right. So what we're going to do, I have 3 cards with 3 different questions. And I want you to draw a card and tell me what draw a card, then I'm going to read you. See, this is where I'm like, okay, what am I doing? So you draw and give it back to me.
Okay.
Give it back to me.
Okay.
All right.
Do you get to draw a card too?
Not today, but maybe I'll add that. Okay, you ready?
Yes.
What is one event, conversation, or experience that was your aha light bulb that influenced or changed your life?
That's easy.
Good.
It just happened this year. So, and I put my blog post about it, is that this year I had the courage to do something that I've wanted to do for a very long time. And I created an executive women's leadership retreat. And so I took 20 women out to Sun Valley, and we spent 3 days really talking about the meat of being leaders and how we connect in a very honest and transparent way. And I will tell you, these women are incredible women. The power in that room to authentically show up, to be able to share the good, the bad, and the ugly together, and celebrate and see each other for the beauty and the strength in each other. It was really an aha, powerful moment. And so I'm really committed to, in 2026, creating spaces and communities where people are seen, where people can learn and grow from each other, because in this very fast-paced world where we go, we go to conferences, and I love conferences. You and I go to conferences all the time.
Those conferences.
I learn and grow, but I'm always left like, oh, I wish I had a little bit more time with that person, or I wish I could lean in a little bit more. I know those are my aha moments, is when I get a little bit more time, when we had that time to have lunch and we got to really connect. Like, that was an aha moment for me. So how do I create more space for that?
Well, and congratulations, because clearly that was a huge success.
You're going to go to one too.
I'm on. Yes. I'm going to Waco. Yes.
We're going on a traveling show together.
We're going to go on that travel show, but it's making a difference, Melissa.
Thank you.
And it truly is. And so it's incredible, the impact. And so it is a gift to all of us that you actually started to be your own CEO.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. So my last fun thing,
Yes.
I have one more question, which is I'm starting a tradition where I'm going to ask you one other question. This came from a guest on my show,
Okay.
and it's on this cool Invest in Joy postcard.
Which I have that sticker on my computer.
Oh, yes, I remember.
Yes.
I remember. So what memory makes you laugh?
Oh, what memory makes me laugh? Actually, this is a great story that I just told at a dinner party. I love sharing like crazy stories at dinner parties.
Yeah.
But we had a work day. We were at the Restaurant Finance and Development Conference, and we had a dinner party with all women. And we started what was the most embarrassing thing that's happened to you in business?
That's a good question.
Great question,
Great
right?
question.
And so I'm going to publicly tell mine here, which will make you all laugh. But
Good.
I would host our conferences at Black Box Intelligence, and I was hosting a lunch, and I was thanking our sponsors, and we were bringing people up, and David Cantu, who was the CEO of Hot Schedules, and he's now CEO of Craftable, and is a friend of mine, came up, and I went to hug him, and I had the microphone, and I didn't realize the microphone was hot, and I went, David, you smell so good. In front of 300 people.
That's priceless.
So we can all laugh on behalf of my big flub, but I would ask David what
wasn't
cologne
sure.
he wears because it was fantastic.
Evidently. So note to self, hot mic, always beware.
Yes.
Hot mic.
Yes.
All right. So my final thing, and oh my gosh, this has been such a pleasure, such a joy, and the time just flies by. Again, could talk forever. But my other kind of new thing I'm doing is I want you to write a question.
Okay.
And for my next guest, so your question will actually be asked.
I love that. I
so
will
go
do
ahead
that.
and just write that.
Okay.
And it can be anything.
Okay. Say it? No, you have to wait.
No, we have. That's
Okay.
this, and I'm not even going to look at it. But we have this really cool book as well.
Okay, great.
And thank you again.
Thank you,
and it was
Lisa.
just
Thank you.
amazing. I appreciate you. You bring us all joy.
Well, you do too. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.